My Man for Tomorrow speech by Jaden Greer. The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled by Clinton. When I first heard those words, it felt like an abstract idea, the kind of thing you read in a textbook and forget by the next period. But over the past few years at Christian Brothers College High School, I have come to understand what it truly means to kindle a fire in your own mind. I'm Jaden Greer, and this is my story of growth as a critical thinker, an athlete, a leader, and a man for tomorrow. Two projects that have defined my time here more than any others. The first was our HandFest showcase, uh, where students displayed work from across disciplines, English, the arts, and beyond. I presented a project that forced me to think across subject areas and communicate complex ideas to an audience that included teachers, peers, and parents. Standing at that showcase, I realized something important. Real thinking isn't just about getting the right answers on the test. It's about being able to explain your reasoning, defend your conclusions, and connect ideas that seem unrelated to the surface. The second project that I'm particularly proud of, a C-SPAN contest entry focused on the teen vaping epidemic. I researched the statistics, the alarming rates at which young people are becoming addicted to nicotine, and crafting a video argument directed at a national audience. This wasn't just a school project, it was an opportunity to use evidence and reasoning to try to change minds. I learned that data, when paired with a clear argument and a genuine passion, has the power to move people. Growth, I've learned, doesn't always feel like progress in the moment. Sometimes it feels like confusion, frustrating, or starting over. And frustration, or starting over. When I produced our recreation of Romeo and Juliet, my group and I had to reimagine Shakespeare's scenes through a modern lens, writing, directing, and performing our own interpretation on camera. It was really messy. We disagreed on creative choices. We had to refilm scenes. But through that process, I grew not only as a student of literature, but as a collaborator and a communicator, and a better person overall. I learned to listen, and I learned to listen. I learned to listen, and I learned to lead. The C-SPAN vaping project is the clearest example of my development as a critical thinker. I began with a question: why, despite widespread knowledge of the dangers, were teens continuing to vape in record numbers? To answer that question, I had to go beyond surface level research. I analyzed data from the CDC and public health organizations. I considered the role of social media marketing and peer influence, even seeking out interviews from those of corporations. And I developed an original argument that teen vaping is not simply a matter of bad choices, but a systemic problem driven by targeted advertising and lack of accessible education. According to CDC, e-cigarette use among high school students surged dramatically over the past decade, with flavor products specifically designed to appeal to young consumers. My C-SPAN entry drew directly on this data to build a persuasive case. By constructing an argument grounded in real data and directed at a real audience, I moved beyond memorizing facts. I learned what it means to think, to weigh evidence, anticipate counterarguments, and communicate with purpose. The Handfest was a different kind of challenge. Rather than a single focus argument, I had to synthesize learning from multiple classes and present it in a way that made sense to a general audience. I brought together work from English and the arts, weaving together different modes of thinking into a single cohesive presentation. This taught me that the strongest thinkers don't work in silos. They connect ideas across disciplines. At the Handfest showcase, I presented a project that drew on both analytical writing and creative expression, demonstrating the ability to communicate across contexts. When I look back at who I was as a freshman, a student who thought thinking was merely just finding the right answer, and who I am now, I see the difference clearly. I no longer wait for answers. I ask better questions. Outside the classroom, I've carried these same principles into everything I do on the football field, on the track. Success demands strategy, discipline, and the ability to adapt when things don't go to plan. In Diversity Club, I've learned to listen to different perspectives, different from my own, and to recognize that understanding others is itself a form of critical thinking. A
Thank
man
you.
for tomorrow.
That's 6 minutes.
Okay.
I'll just do